It's Sunday, August 16th, 2026. You're listening to the DX Today AI Daily Brief. Today, India lays out a sweeping semiconductor and AI skilling plan from the Red Fort. Alibaba's open models cross a major download milestone, and Washington presses its allies to pick a side in the AI race with Beijing. Let's get into it.
We begin in New Delhi, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi used his Independence Day address from the Red Fort to place AI and chips at the center of India's next decade. Modi said 3 semiconductor plants are already producing chips, some bound for export, and that 5 to 8 more fabrication facilities could come online over the next 7 to 8 years. He also pledged AI training for 10 million young Indians and pointed to a 1 lakh crore rupee innovation fund to back startups. The message was clear. India wants to move from importing silicon and software to designing and building its own, and it wants a generation trained to do it.
Staying with the hardware race.
NVIDIA is deepening its role as AI's financier. Multiple outlets reported Saturday that the chip giant is in talks to invest up to $3 billion in SB Energy, a power developer backed by SoftBank. The money would help build out an enormous data center campus in Ohio that is being developed to run workloads for OpenAI. It's the latest sign that NVIDIA is no longer just selling the picks and shovels of the AI boom, but helping fund the mines themselves, from power generation to the buildings that house its own chips. Analysts say the strategy locks in demand, but it also ties NVIDIA's fortunes ever more tightly to a handful of very large customers.
Across the Pacific, a milestone.
Alibaba is claiming the crown in open-source AI. The Chinese tech giant said its Qwen family of models has now surpassed 3 billion downloads, overtaking Meta's Llama and Google's models to become the world's most downloaded open model family, according to figures from Hugging Face. Much of that growth came in just the past 6 months, as developers gravitated toward Qwen's mix of capability and permissive licensing. The milestone underscores how quickly China's open models have gone from followers to leaders. It gives developers everywhere a free alternative to the closed systems built by the biggest American labs, and it gives Beijing a foothold in the global AI supply chain measured in tools, not just chip.
Which brings us to Washington.
The United States is preparing to ask its partners to choose sides. According to a Reuters report, the State Department has drafted a letter circulating among the 35 signatories of its AI Opportunity Framework, warning that countries which sign major AI infrastructure deals with China could be shut out of the American-led coalition. The draft frames access to advanced AI computing as a strategic resource, and it signals that Washington increasingly views the technology through the lens of geopolitics rather than commerce. For nations trying to court investment from both superpowers, it's an uncomfortable choice, and a preview of how the AI race may harden into 2 competing blocks.
The build-out continues down under.
OpenAI's appetite for computing power is going global. Reports this weekend detailed plans for a new data center in Sydney, Australia, code-named S7, with a capacity of 612 megawatts, which would rank it among the largest AI facilities in the world. The project is still in planning, not yet built, but its scale speaks to the enormous energy footprint behind today's models. Each new frontier system demands more compute, and more compute demands more land, more power, and more water. As OpenAI spreads its infrastructure across continents, it's betting that demand for its models will keep pace with the billions it is committing to concrete, cabling, and electricity.
A candid word from Anthropic.
Anthropic's chief executive Dario Amodei is pushing back on a common critique of AI rules. In remarks first posted Friday, Amodei rejected the argument that regulation would concentrate power in the hands of a few big companies, calling that a false choice. He argued that well-designed rules can actually constrain the largest frontier labs and give smaller competitors room to breathe. In the same breath, he offered a note of humility, acknowledging that AI companies have not yet delivered on some of their grandest promises. Coming from the head of one of the industry's leading labs, the comments were a notable attempt to reframe a debate that too often pits innovation against oversight.
Elon Musk talks Grok.
Over at xAI, Elon Musk is setting expectations high. In posts on X on Friday, Musk said the company's next model, Grok 4.7, has, in his words, a good chance of exceeding all current models in intelligence. He also recommended the existing Grok 4.6 for users who want a balance of speed and cost. Musk has a history of bold predictions that don't always land on schedule, so the claims are worth taking with some caution. Still, they signal that the race at the frontier remains ferociously competitive, with xAI positioning itself alongside OpenAI, Google, and Anthropic as a serious contender rather than an upstart chasing the leaders.
A feature quietly retires.
Microsoft is pulling the plug on one of its more experimental AI features. The company confirmed it will retire the Copilot function in Excel, a formula that let users type plain language instructions into a spreadsheet cell and get AI-generated results back. According to a Message Center notice, the function will stop working after September 14th, roughly a year after it first appeared in preview. Microsoft is steering users toward its other Copilot entry points instead. It's a modest change, but a telling one. Even the biggest software makers are still figuring out where generative AI genuinely helps inside everyday tools, and which experiments are worth keeping once the initial novelty wears off.
Back to China's open models.
China's open model push isn't stopping with Alibaba. Reports over the weekend say DeepSeek is widening access to its latest systems, keeping its V4 models openly available with public interfaces and aggressive pricing. Together with Alibaba's Qwen, DeepSeek is helping drive a wave of capable, low-cost models coming out of China that are increasingly hard for the rest of the world to ignore. For developers, it means more choice and lower bills. For the established American labs, it means competition that plays out not just on quality, but on price and openness, a combination that could reshape who ultimately builds on which foundation over the next few years.
Wall Street runs the numbers.
How much is all this AI spending actually paying off? A fresh analysis from Goldman Sachs offers a sobering answer. Reviewing second quarter results across the S&P 500, the bank found that companies building AI infrastructure are seeing real benefits. But the broader corporate world has yet to show a material boost to earnings. Strikingly, Goldman noted that only about 2% of large companies have quantified any productivity impact from AI at all. The takeaway is not that the technology doesn't work, but that turning it into measurable profit takes time. For investors weighing sky-high valuations, it's a reminder that adoption and payoff don't always move on the same clock.
Construction booms in South Korea.
In South Korea, the AI boom is reshaping an unexpected industry, construction. Major builders including Hyundai Engineering and Construction, Daewoo GS, and SK Ecoplant are pivoting hard toward data centers, standing up dedicated teams and chasing new projects to serve surging demand for AI computing. It's a striking shift for firms better known for apartments, bridges, and power plants. As governments and cloud providers race to add capacity, the physical work of pouring foundations and wiring server halls has become a growth business in its own right. The story is a reminder that behind every model and every chatbot sits an enormous and very physical industrial effort.
Finally, a talent tug of war.
We close in Singapore, where AI has entered the competition for financial talent. According to the Financial Times, Singapore is betting that giving its finance sector early and broad access to advanced AI tools will help it hold on to investment managers who might otherwise be lured to Hong Kong, which has been dangling tax cuts to attract them. It's a novel twist on talent retention. Rather than competing on pay alone, the city-state is treating cutting-edge AI as a workplace perk and a productivity edge. As the technology spreads through banking and asset management, expect more financial hubs to market not just their tax rates and lifestyle, but the quality of the AI their people get to use.
That's your briefing for Sunday, August 16th, 2026. For DX Today, stay curious.